this is Phoenix here, and today we're going to be doing the video game pickups for the month of August 2017. And I don't know about anyone else out there, but I thought this month felt pretty slow for me. Now, whether you look at it as a good thing or a bad thing, the one good thing I will say is that even though it was slow, I did manage to beat a lot of shit that I was like trying to finish up, you know. Like, for an example, I beat Yakuza 0 finally, which was fantastic, and then I got the true ending in Nier Automata, which was also pretty great, and I also finished up a lot of games for review purposes, which is always nice, so, you know, I'm always working ahead of time with that, and hopefully you guys will see that in the fall and such. So, anyways, one thing I will say before I get into the video game pickups themselves is that, I don't have any shoutouts for this month, which is kind of unfortunate, so, you know, hopefully for next month I'll have at least one or two, we'll see. So anyways, with that said, now let's begin with talking about some of the older shit. So the first one we're going to be talking about here are some original Xbox games, which are the oldest stuff I have in here, and this one right here is Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller. Well, I don't know what else I can say about this game that hasn't been said before, but it's good old Crazy Taxi. So, you know, if you played one Crazy Taxi game, you've probably played another one, and, you know, it's all fun shit anyways. So, yeah, not a whole lot that I can say, but I can definitely say that I really do think this one is highly enjoyable. So the next one here is a fighting game that is actually a part of one of my favorite fighting series, and that happens to be King of Fighters Maximum Impact 1, which I actually do have part 2 on PS2, but it's called 2006, which is really weird because they didn't do the annual releases at that time. But anyways, what can I say about this one is that this is kind of a weird entry because this one is actually plays like a 3D fighting game than a 2D one, and surprisingly, I think it actually does play pretty well. It's just, you know, I think the one complaint that a lot of people have is that this game's, like, 3D models and it look kind of weird, and yeah, they really do. But I do like the 3D backgrounds, and I do think those still look pretty good. It's just, you know, the characters themselves look kind of weird. And the music stages is good, and one other thing that's also weird with this one is that Maximum Impact 1 and 2, as far as I know, are the only games in the KOF series to have English voice acting. And I can kind of see why they never continued that, because the voice acting in this game is pretty fucking awful. But, yeah, other than that, though, I do think this one is still pretty enjoyable. Obviously, it's not the best in the series, far from it, but it's definitely not the worst. It's way better than stupid fucking 12, that's for damn sure. So the next one we got here is a racing series that were only on the PC. In fact, one of my cousins, me and him, used to play the shit out of them. It was a hell of a good time. In fact, this one is Midtown Madness III, which was the last one in the series, unfortunately, because I think this was actually a pretty good one. Yeah, it was a little bit generic, but I mean, hey, I think like the one thing it had going for it was that they had a lot of variety of missions to do, where you also got some racing missions, and then you had some missions that kind of play sort of like Crazy Taxi-ish, but, you know, not nearly as over the top, but, you know, still a hell of a good time. So, yeah, I think this was one of those series that I really wish, like, Xbox would, like, bring back or something in some way, shape, or form, because I do think it is a pretty good one, and also the, I kind of wonder if the first two PC games were on, like, Steam or GOG or something, because I would like to revisit them someday. But yeah, man, like, I just have a lot of nostalgia for this one, and when I seen it, I just had to go get it. So, if you ever do see this one around for a couple of dollars, and, you know, you want to have a good racing fix of something you never played before, I'd say this one is worth checking out for sure. And the next one we got here is, Samurai Warriors 1, the original, which, by the way, I've never actually played the original Samurai Warriors, but I always wanted to, even though I know I played 2, 3, and 4, so, you know, it always kind of felt weird if I wanted to go back to this one, but no, believe it or not, this one actually still plays pretty decent for the first one. I mean, I'd rather play this than play, like, Dynasty Warriors 2, like, good god. But, yeah, this one I do think is a pretty good first entry in the series, though obviously because I am a fan of, like, a lot of Koei title games, you know, I really just want to, like, get all the, you know, the Samurai Warrior related stuff, or any Warrior related games. The only ones I'm not, like, too thrilled about getting are the Extreme Legends, because they just feel like more like add-ons, but, you know, I want to get, like, all the original games, and maybe some of the Empire ones, because those ones are actually pretty good too, so yeah, I haven't played this one a whole lot there, because I only just played like a little bit of it, and also there's another game I have that's very similar to this, but a hell of a lot better, so I'll talk about that one when I get there. But, yeah, I actually never knew that Samurai Warriors was on the original Xbox. I always thought it was only on PS2, so, you know, That's news for me. Alright, so now as for the last original Xbox game we got here, this one was one I was a very big surprise because, well, okay, let me talk about it, and that happens to be Steak Fortune Fighters. And no, not steak as in, like, you know, actual cooking a steak, although I'd rather eat steak no matter what state it is because, okay, so first thing I gotta say with this game is that, like, when I looked at the back of it, it was like, oh, wow, that looks like, Power Stone on the Dreamcast, and also, like, it's a game it looked kind of interesting, and also I never heard of it, like, whatsoever, like, when I seen it at the store, I'd never seen it, like, any other time before, and it was, like, super cheap, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try, like, let's just see how this goes, and when I went home, and I played it, and it fucking sucked. Oh man, like, I wasn't really too mad about it because it was, like, really cheap, so, you know, it wasn't like I paid, like, the amount of price of what Power Stone goes for, because, I mean, if I paid that much for it, then yeah, then I'd be pretty fucking pissed, but no, it's not a very good version of Power Stone. It's weird, like, it's like an arena fighter, but, like, the attacks, like, they have, like, this really, like, when you do an attack, it does, like, this crazy animation going on, but it's, like, so slow and delayed, and it's just not a good time, so, yeah, I don't know, man. If you ever see this game out in the wild, you're thinking that it's going to be as good as Power Stone, well, sadly to say, it's not. And now we're going to be moving on to the Wii stuff, so the one and only Wii game we got here is, Mad World, just like the song from Tears for Fears, or the one that everyone knows from the Gears of War commercial, which, by the way, I actually like both those versions of the songs, just throwing that out there, but anyway, so this was a game that has been a long time coming for me. I've always wanted to play this one ever since it came out, but I just never did, and you know what, now that I finally played it, it's better late than never to say that this one is actually a hell of a good time, really good stuff. So, you know, the game has like a black and white style to it, kind of like Sin City, which I think is really cool looking. In fact, that's actually another thing I also really like, is that was a fucking good movie, and also a good comic book too. I did read a little bit of that at school one time. But, yeah, so, you know, it's a good old, like, beat-em-up, hack and slash, also has some, like, shooting elements and stuff. It's like a balls-out, crazy-ass game. It's pretty much a lot like Anarchy Reigns in this sort of way. But, yeah, there's just a lot of good shit happening with this game, and you know what, if you see it for real cheap, and if you haven't played it, I can definitely recommend checking it out, because it's a fucking great time. Well, we're not entirely done with the Wii stuff, because I do have one Wii U game. In fact, oddly enough, this is also another Platinum's game kind of game that was also been a long time coming for me, and that happens to be Wonderful 101. So, yeah, this one is... Okay, I gotta be honest here, I'm very mixed on this game. Like, there's some things about it that I like, and then there's some things about it that I don't like. But first of all, let me first talk about, like, the concept. So basically, it plays in, like, an isometric view. We use, like, these superheroes, and, you know, you gotta, like, make, like, shapes, and with, like, getting a big group of people, kind of like Pikmin, and you can, like, do a whole bunch of crazy shit, like making, like, giant-ass weapons and hitting people with them and stuff. You know, it sounds like a really awesome game, and it kind of is, but... The thing that I'm kind of disappointed in, at least like when I was playing it with the Pro Controller, is that the fucking way how you have to like move around the group of people and shit, it feels very fucking gimmicky as shit. Like, okay, here's a good example. What it reminds me of is that for anyone that has played Castlevania Dawn of Sorrows, you know when you had to do like the boss fights and then like you had to do that like little drawing thing there, and if you make like one little mistake, it's like, oh nope, doesn't count. It kind of reminds me of that, but only that it's not just boss fights, it's like throughout most of the game, and it's weird, because I know I'm a little bit disappointed, because this is a game that I was looking forward to back when it came out, but I just never got around to it, and then when I finally did have it, well... It's cool, but it's not as good as I was hoping it would be. But I don't think this is a bad game, mind you. I don't think this is, like, an awful game or anything. Don't get me wrong, it's not. It's just, you know, it's taken me a lot of time to get used to. Or maybe I'm just not having a great time with it as much as I would like, because, you know, maybe it's because I suck at it. I mean, there's always that, too. But either way, I do hope that they do a remake of this on the Switch or something, and, you know, hopefully they can improve that, like, whole thing, or maybe they might make, like, another one that's a lot better, who knows, but we'll have to see about that. So, the last few games we got here are on the PS4, and this one right here is, Yakuza Kiwami, aka Yakuza 1 Remake, which, by the way, I never actually played the first one until this one was, I played it last night just for a little bit there, but anyways though, since I did beat Yakuza 0 and I fucking adored it, I decided that it would have been pretty perfect to actually pick this one up not that long after, and well, what can I say? Pretty much if you've never played any of the games before, I'd say starting off with 0 would be your best, but starting off with this one probably wouldn't be a bad idea either, mainly because, you know, for the people that played the OG Yakuza 1 on PS2, that was their first game, so, you know, starting off with this one wouldn't be that bad either, but regardless of that, though, I think this is just a fucking great series because, you know, it feels like an open world game, but it doesn't really, like, it doesn't feel too overwhelming, which I think is perfect, and also the fact that the stories in it are, like, really serious and really interesting and great, but there's also a lot of, like, side stuff you can do that are, like, batshit insane, and I love it. And just the fighting is just like over the top. It's really fucking good shit. And I'm really happy that Sega are finally realizing that people in the West actually like this shit. They're not like, oh man, those stupid Americans, like, they hate the Yakuza games. All they want is like shitty Sonic games. Like, that's all they care about. Well, no, thankfully they're getting their heads out of their asses finally. Well, anyways, with all the ridiculous shit aside, the other thing that's cool about this is that you do get a nice steel case with it, which, you know, like, this is like the front of it, and then you get like this really cool like tattoo design on the back. It's good fucking shit. So, yeah, anyways, what can I say else about Yakuza is that if you like Shenmue, give this one a shot, and of course if you're, like, really sick and tired of waiting for Shenmue 3 to come out, this is a good fix for that. Alright, so the next PS4 we got here is one that I never would have thought would actually become a thing, but it exists now, and that happens to be Warriors AllStars. Now, this game is basically like a Dynasty Warrior style game with like a shitload of different Tecmo Koei characters. So, you know, obviously you got like a couple Dynasty Warrior, Samurai Warrior characters, but you do got a lot of other mixture variety of them. Like, you know, you have a Ryu from Ninja Gaiden, you have characters from DOA, you have some from Knights of Azure, you have the one dude from Epona, which was a very underrated Wii game. And then, of course, you got my personal favorite, Deception, because, you know, I'm obsessed with that shit. And also you got dude from Neo, which looks fucking cool. And also, it's funny, he's like the only character in the game that speaks English, which is funny. So, yeah, like, as I would expect from a Warriors game, to be perfectly honest, this might actually be my favorite Warriors game, period. At least up there, because, you know, it's hard to decide which one would be my favorite, but I'd put it up there with, you know, ones like Warriors Orochi 3, or Hyrule Warriors, or even Samurai Warriors 4. I'd put it up there with some of those, but, yeah, man, like, I'm really happy with this shit. I know, like, this game is not gonna be for everyone, because, you know, not everyone likes, you know, repetitive hack and slashes, but that's why I play them in short bursts, so I don't get, like, overtired of them kind of thing. So, you know, that's what I do with them personally, but, yeah, this one is definitely a big favorite of mine, and, my only one complaint with it is that, like, you can't switch between characters in the midst of battle. Like, all your support characters, like, they're just support characters. They, you can't do what you can do in, Warriors Orochi 3, where you can switch between them in the middle of battle, which is a little disappointing, but other than that, though, I'm very happy with it, and I'm having a good time with it. Alright, so the next one we got here is also the last one, and that happens to be Tales of Vesperia. Now, the reason why I didn't get this one, like, much sooner mainly has to do with the fact that, I find, like, what they're doing with the Tales of series, it seems like they keep on releasing them, like, super quickly, and then I get, like, super burnt out on them, and, because, you know, after when I was playing through Vesperia, I was, like, I heard about this one, and I was like, wow, it's coming out so soon, like, what the shit, man. Well, anyways, though, I do want to play through this one eventually, but, you know, I got a lot of other stuff to play through, but this is one I am going to be looking forward to playing through, because it does look like a good entry. Like, I mean, from what I've seen of it, I do like some of the characters I've seen. Like, Velvet seems like a really badass protagonist, and then, you know, you got Edna's brothers in here. I forget his name right at the moment there, but he seems like a pretty amusing character who's, like, obsessed with digging tunnels and shit. And then, of course, you know, you got some, like, other really, like, interesting stuff going on. Pretty much, you get to play as the Benevolence, or whatever the hell it was called in Vesperia, which, you know, is pretty cool, so, you know, I can't wait for that, though. And also, as you can tell, it's still sealed in the plastic, but, and, of course, I just have to end it off here by acting all ridiculous and shit. But that's kind of the whole fun about doing this off-the-cuff stuff, because I get to say whatever the fuck I want. Well, anyways, so with all that said, you know, that's all the games that I got for this month, and, you know, if there's any, like, gaming recommendations, I hopefully, you know, you got some games to check out at your own time and your own pace, and, you know, all that fun stuff, and, of course, you know, feel free to mention some other stuff that you've gotten recent, like, this month, or if you want to pick up, like, next month, because there's also going to be a lot of good stuff coming out throughout the rest of the year, so, yeah, so with that said, guys, thanks for watching and commenting, and have yourselves a great day.